Our media product uses and develops the forms and conventions of real media products. There are many elements of our film which are very similar to typical thriller films and follows the conventions of the specific genre. For our music, we took inspiration from thriller films such as The Shining and The Woman in Black. We did this because we liked the eerie atmosphere which the music created, and it created tension, so we used it to create an unsettling mood. It works very well in our film as it is set in a wood, and the music consists of heartbeats, sharp high sounds, and loud sudden murmurs. Our music is successful in following the conventions of a thriller film because it is able to put the audience on edge, and from the very beginning of the film, it is obvious that it is a thriller. The music follows the typical conventions of a thriller film as we chose it to be this way, as we wanted to replicate the creepy atmosphere that is successfully created in the thriller films we took inspiration from. The setting and location we chose is a huge wood with a small cabin in the middle behind a lake. We chose this because the wood itself looks creepy, a typical setting you'd find in a thriller film: large tall trees, intricate decorations between them such as wind chimes and dream catchers. The small cabin we found is unsettling in itself. It contains many vintage instruments and books. We thought this would be perfect as it is appropriate for our storyline and would reinforce the thriller genre. It follows the typical conventions of a thriller film, and we took inspiration from the film The Blair Witch Project, which is set in a creepy wood similar to the location we used, as it is very successful in creating tension, which is why we chose this specific location. We used a variety of camera shots throughout our film. We especially liked the look of long shots because we were able to capture the location which emphasised the creepy atmosphere. We included a few tracking shots because we wanted to represent the character's journey thoroughly, and we wanted to draw the audience in and hook their attention. The use of panning shots made our film successful as we were able to demonstrate the surrounding area around the character and also capture a vital part of the story in a way which is different from the other shots we have used. We also used high-angle shots to convey the fact that the character was vulnerable to the ghost girl in our story, as everywhere he went she always seemed to appear. We used a match on action to create quick shots so it would make the scene tenser. We took inspiration from one of the camera shots which was used in The Woman in Black, which the protagonist was walking through the graveyard. There was a smooth panning shot which panned him walking, but then panned behind a figure which was the woman in black. This shot was successful because it created tension, as the audience knew something was there, but it was clear the protagonist did not know. We used a variation of the shot in our film during flashback when the two police officers are talking, and the camera zooms out to show the ghost girl in our film. We really liked this because it made it clear to the audience that this supernatural presence is going to be the plot to our short thriller film. We had a lot of quick camera takes to show the tension and quickness of the scenes, and we thought this was appropriate as it contributed to the tension. The mise-en-scene used in our film is successful as they follow the conventions of a thriller film. The two characters in the beginning playing the police officers had smart costumes which consisted of suits, ties and jackets. This added realism to our film as they looked like two genuine detectives or police officers. This follows the typical conventions of a thriller film as the important people are always dressed in smart costumes. The ghost girl's costume is all black with a grey shawl, which blends into the environment but makes her stand out in daylight. She is dressed this way because in the film we took inspiration from The Woman in Black. She is dressed in just black, but we added an additional colour to make her stand out more. We used many props to help create the settings of a typical thriller film. We used police tape, which we covered the cabin in front with, to make it look like a real crime scene and investigation. We also left the police tape for after the flashback, as we made it clear to the audience that something unsettling would happen to the protagonist. We used a machete towards the end of the film, which was added to because it added real tension when he was face to face with the ghost girl, and it showed the audience that this was a seriously scary situation for the character. This follows the typical conventions of a thriller film.
There's a body found last night.
Do
you think it's Lydia?
That emphasise the house being very creepy, such as old books and decorations. So we thought police tape would be an appropriate substitute given our storyline. We used a journal as another cause. The whole reason the character was visiting the cabin was due to his interest, as he is a journalist who planned to write out the experience of visiting the park, but instead found an unsettling
How do you think she
presence
died
living
then?
there is a lot of low-key lighting inside the cabin, as there were no lights inside besides the fire, despite the fact we shot in the daytime. There is high-key lighting outside as it was broad daylight. There was a lot of black use in our film, such as the costumes and noise acting. The black denoted darkness and enabled us to add even more detail to our film. The character's facial expressions consisted of him constantly being on edge, curious to his surroundings, and scared when he sees the ghost girl. His body language showed him reluctant to explore when he discovers his supernatural atmosphere lurking there. We have product uses and develops forms and conventions of real media thriller, as we took inspiration from
So there's a body found last night.
Do you think it's Lydia?
Similar aspects to
Could
our
be.
own short thriller film, so we could successfully create the tension and eerie atmosphere those other films represented. Our media product does not challenge real media products, as we decided to go along with the conventions of typical films, as we liked how they were successful creating tension and creepy atmospheres, so we replicated
How
that
do you think she
into our
died
own
then?
thriller film.
Don't know.
Our media product represents different social groups, such as the stereotypical role of the man. The heroine / protagonist of our film is male because the thriller films we took inspiration from, such as The Woman in Black, have a male protagonist, which worked very well with the story. We decided to follow the conventions of thriller films, as out of the films we studied, the majority had a male lead. The character / actor is fairly young, so our film could be aimed toward a slightly younger audience rather than an old audience. The two police detectives in our film are also male. These two characters are supposedly intelligent and in the middle of a crime scene, which suggests they are important to the story, and therefore are represented to have a fairly high status. We chose to have a female antagonist, as this was inspired from the Blair Witch Project, as the supernatural presence was a female witch. The female antagonist in the movie was portrayed as very creepy and frightening, so we chose to replicate this to add tension and a creepy atmosphere to our own film. The character is also young, so this would suggest that our demographic is a younger audience. The stereotypes have been, in a way, reversed, as the man is shown to be brave at first, but when he sees the presence appears to be lurking there, he begins to become afraid. The female, however, is represented to be a strong and terrifying presence, which would suggest that out of the two characters, she can be seen as more superior. Our media product is an independent film, so the best option for the distribution would be to use horizontal integration. We would invest in lots of different companies by offering a share of the profit we make for funding to help us distribute and exhibit our film. We would look for funding to a company such as E1 or the British Film Institute, as they support independent film companies. We would use either one of these because they have distributed and exhibited films such as I, Daniel Blake. Horizontal integration would be ideal for funding an independent film such as ours, as it is much cheaper to do so, as we will receive funding to help us distribute the film. We would not have a lot of money as an independent film company, so we would need to receive funding from other companies. We would also consider digital distribution, as it is a cheap option. We could distribute our film on YouTube for free, and a wider audience would more likely to see it. Another advantage is that the quality is much better, which will attract a bigger audience if the quality is good. It could be argued that it has better quality than those films that are shown in cinemas, because they have to keep being replayed and repeated many times during a single day, and the quality can decrease over time. Another option we have Who would be the audience for your media product? We conducted audience research to find out what the audience would expect to see in answers. What the fuck? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, chill. Who would be the audience for your media product? We conducted audience research to find out what the audience would expect to see in a thriller film, so we therefore included all the aspects they would like to see, such as the music and the settings. The BBFC age rating for our film would be 12. This means our audience for our media product are teenagers and young adults. One of the main reasons why this age range is our demographic is because of the actors and the characters that are involved. The characters that are portrayed in our film are teenagers and young adults, therefore it will appeal to that specific age range because they can relate to the characters more. The thriller genre is also aimed at an older audience rather than young children, as the creepy, tense aspects make it suitable for people who enjoy excitement and tension in a film rather than just entertainment. How did you attract/address your audience? As our audience is teenagers and young adults, we included aspects into our thriller film that would attract our demographic. For example, the actors and characters that are portrayed are teenagers and young adults, which will attract the demographic as the audience are able to relate to them more, making our thriller film more enjoyable for them. Our audience research also told us that our audience would like to see creepy, ominous music in a thriller film, so we included 2 soundtracks that emulate the tension created in other successful films, such as The Shining. Adding this music to our film will attract our audience as they are more likely to watch it, as they have stated it is what they wish to see. Another conclusion that our audience research told us was that they expect to see the location to be big, creepy and outdoors. The location for our film is set in a wood, which includes many elements which make it very creepy and creates tension. The use of this location in our film will attract our audience because it contributes to what they think would make a successful thriller film, so they're more likely to watch it. What have you learnt about technologies from the process of constructing this product? Throughout the process of producing our product, we have learnt a lot about the technologies that help to bring our film to life. Premiere Pro is the program we use to edit and put our film together. This program allowed us to represent our film in a particular way which will create the tension and suspension needed to follow the conventions of thriller films. Through all of the footage we produced, we were able to watch through them all, picking out the best takes and see what it would look like once it was all put together. Afterwards, we had to cut and organise each clip so it fit together in a way that was smooth and made sense. With the use of Premiere Pro, we were able to add effects after each of the different scenes. The most common one we used was Dip to Black, as it allowed the preceding scene to follow quickly soon after the previous one ended, but allowed for the 2 scenes to not be too abrupt when shown through the use of our quick cuts. This worked very well in our film. We also used several cross dissolve, which proved very effective when showing the intensity of 2 specific scenes depicting the antagonist and the protagonist. The video effects make our film effective in creating tension and suspense, as the scenes work in harmony with the effects we chose. The speed of our film is relatively quick, as each of the scenes only consists of a few seconds, with the exception of a few long tracking and panning shots. We decided it would be best if we included a lot of quick cuts, because we felt as though the tension increased the quicker the shots, as everything in the film is sudden and abrupt. If the film was at a lower speed, the tension may not have been present and we would not have succeeded in following the conventions of a thriller film. The music we added to go with our film was fairly easy to edit. The 2 soundtracks we included were roughly 1.5 minutes each, and it was simple to cut them so they were only 1 minute each to fit into our 2-minute film. We were able to add audio effects to correspond with our video effects. These 2 worked very well together because the music complemented the scenes very well. For example, the ending scene of our film dips to black and the music which follows slowly, gradually fades, and it makes our film look smooth and sound smooth. The beginning of our film is a flashback from 2 years before the events that occur, so we colour graded the scenes a little to make it look older than the following scenes. It's not obvious as we only changed a little of each of the colours and brightness, but it does appear to have a slightly older look, making the scenes more realistic when they are compared to one another. We were able to add many titles with Premiere Pro throughout. We picked out a font which looked like font from a typewriter or journal, as it is the profession of the protagonist of our film, which links to the reason why he is visiting the wood. We used effects to bring the font in and out in a way that fits in with the way our scenes follow on from one another. We spent a long time choosing the appropriate font because it is important for the font to match the ambience of our film. Looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you've learnt in regression from it to the full project? During the course of creating our preliminary task to our media product, I have learnt a lot about how different elements such as music, mise-en-scène and research impact on how successful our media product is. When we were filming our preliminary task, it was one of the first times that any of us had ever used a DSLR camera properly, so we were all new to the prospect of filming. We spent nowhere near as long on our preliminary task as we did on our film. Our preliminary task consisted of only a few different camera shots, and the shots were quite shaky and did not flow very smoothly from one to another. The music we used went well with the video, however, the effects we added did not flow smoothly. We used hardly any video effects, so the transitions from each scene were abrupt and sudden. There was also a lot of planning involved in our preliminary task, and it was evident as the final product was satisfactory, but there was huge amounts of room for improvement. In our media product, after some audience research and research in general, we included a variety of different camera shots. We learnt what a match on action is, and we added it to the beginning of our film. We also included more tracking and panning shots, which were a lot smoother than the ones in our preliminary, as we used a tripod to help smooth out the shots. We took a lot of time panning.
So there's a body found last night.
Did you think it's Lydia?
Could be.
The first time we filmed, we had a lot of footage and struggled to cut it down into the best part. Through this, we learned that we had to alter our storyline for it to make sense, as I think we police officers, but we made the mistake of using a person who looks rather young, so the project was very realistic and so it looks like a child acting as an adult character. We learned that it was important to be actually do at the end of the character as it looks very unrealistic having a person play the role of a young character. We then filmed with them going to film all of the footage together and have all the prices that were to the film. This is particularly for the second part. We all knew that picking a location and setting was very important, as our story is inspired by The Woman in Black and the Blair Witch Project, which are all set in a wood. We took some time into finding the perfect location that could replicate the tension and suspense created in those films, just because of the location. It is easy to create a creepy atmosphere in an isolated, huge outdoor area. The first time we filmed, the wood was very foggy, but it looked very good on camera.
So there's a body found last night.
Did you think it's Lydia?
Evident that we learnt many
Could
things
be.
from our preliminary task that have helped us to create a higher quality media product.
It's not her.
How do you think she died then?
I don't know.